For a better future, serious action is needed. Otherwise, it's worth peanuts. In reality, without ethics, every action is worthless, worth nothing, not even half a peanut. Without moral principles and philosophy, waiting around will get us nowhere. A better future is only possible if we respect life as the priority of priorities. Human, animal, vegetal, life in every sense of the word. At its base, according to the eco-feminist principle, it must be improved for all and for everyone. That is why it's imperative to reconsider it. And now, the basis of an ethical life in society is to review one's ways of thinking and functioning in line with this idea. And who, in spite of herself, is at the root of life? The woman. Her body allows her to do so. To respect women is to respect life in all aspects. It is to respect the earth. In France, opening wine shops before opening parks and gardens shows that ecofeminism is a foreign word to our government. It seems that our emergency situation is ignored by most of the people who decide the future of this planet. Without a real and serious policy, we are condemning our planet to ruin. Hearing that the wine shops were going to open, while the ban on access to green spaces was being maintained, pissed me off. Who can explain to me why the economy of the former is preferred to the economy of the latter? What clever calculation could have made the first option preferable to the second? Since when is alcohol better for our health than freedom to move, freedom to breathe, and is considered more important than the greenery around us? But first of all, who has the right to decide on our relationship with nature? Like the air we breathe, it belongs to no one. In fact, we can make no mistake about it. We are the ones who belong to nature. We need it to live. Thus, limiting this right is criminal for the balance of our inner world and, of course, for the balance of this planet. Respect. Ecofeminism is life reconciled. It is the opposite of domination. It integrates all forms of life. It is an egalitarian vision and a holistic inclusion of everything of which we are part. I see it as a respectful presence in the universe. In the 1970s, the voice of the Indian Vandana Shiva was not heard. Yet for all these years, she has never failed to speak up. In a recent interview in Le Monde Moderne, the eco-feminist activist said of COVID-19, "This crisis has taught us that the earth belongs to everyone, not just human beings. Just look at how during these 2 months, wildlife has repopulated and the countryside and sometimes the cities deserted by people." We must remain aware that this pandemic cannot be precisely defined as natural in origin. Man has largely contributed to its spread. He has had a central role. The global icon of the ecologist movement reminds us. Everything is linked. We must not forget this lesson if we want to consider a better world. Basically, the virus and climate change have a common origin. Human greed. The conviction that the Earth's resources have no limits and that they can be exploited as if nothing had happened. These strong words and crystal clear voice have not been listened to enough. In France, the voice of Françoise d'Aubonne, founder in 1978 of the ecology feminism section within the Movement for the Liberation of Women, also goes unheard. The writer theorized that nature, like women, are a victim of patriarchy. The proof still exists today, 50 years later. Voices from here and elsewhere have reminded us of the link between people and nature and the place that women hold within it. Who is listening? The voice of Vandana Shiva still echoes. Others have faded forever. Yet the torch will continue to burn. On this sacred fire, there are many of us watching. I thank also the men who join our movements. Together, we will be much more able to restore this earth. Come back to life. Deciding to grow up by getting closer to the living is, to my mind, the most natural option. 'Cause today, more than ever, we have two choices. To continue to distance ourselves from ourselves, or to return to what's essential. To become or to possess. That's the question. Caring for others should not be limited to human hope, but to all forms of life. The same applies to moral values, which must embrace the world in its richness, without distinction. One may ask the question, should it be called Sir rather than Lady Nature, so that it's more respected? However, a gender like the color of its skin cannot be chosen. It doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man as long as you go through this world. It's even better to go through it doing something useful, and why not, while you're at it, something beautiful. As such, feminism should not exist, because come to think of it, the sex we have between our legs should not take up too much space. Only progress led by people remains important, whether they are women or men. And it doesn't matter where they come from or what their religion is. When it comes to equality, any other consideration is worthless. I'm a tree, a female one, and I am not crying. I am full of the potential of hope, all the hope in the world. We still have two options: to continue the unbridled quest to increase wealth, injustice, and inequality, or to decide to live in a world to share. Between the two, my heart is not split.